A very good evening, everyone. On behalf of Bhagwan Sheetalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute, deemed to be University Pune, I wholeheartedly welcome you all. Today, to deliver Lecture 11 of Professor H.D. Sankalia monthly lecture series on Jain heritage, titled The Śāntinātha Basadi at Jinanāthapura, a masterpiece of Hoysala temple architecture, we have with us Ms. Stuti Jain. Before I ask her to begin her lecture, let me briefly tell you, for those who have joined us for the first time, let me briefly tell you about the activities of Bhagwan Sheetalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology and why this particular series has been named after Professor H.D. Sankalia, sir. In the initial years of the beginning of Jain studies, especially concerning archaeology and historicity of Jainism in the region of Western Deccan, the scholars did not believe its early existence. It was Professor H.D. Sankalia, along with Dr. Shobna Gokhale ma'am, who published an inscription from Pale, Brahmi inscription, where they claimed that Jainism existed in this particular region, archaeologically proven to be as old as 2nd century BCE, as per the paleography of that particular inscription. Apart from that, he has contributed immensely to the establishment of Department of Archaeology at Deccan College and has also brought in scientific archaeology and so many other contributions that we have named this particular series by his name, remembering him as an inspiration. Bhagwan Sheetal Chair for Jain Archaeology has been established at the Department of AIC in Archaeology at Deccan College by the aid of International School for Jain Studies and Vardhaman Charitable Foundation. This chair focuses on establishing contacts with the young scholars focused on the studies in Jain art, architecture, archaeology. The chair also organizes monthly lectures, online monthly lectures, in physical mode. We also held the quiz competition, national annual research seminar on Jain art, architecture and archaeology. We have internship programs going on. Some projects are also going on. An important project on the bibliography of Jain art, architecture and archaeology is also underway. There are so many other programs that are currently in the pipeline, and we seek your guidance and your suggestions for our projects and further programs. Before I go further, I would like to request Dhananjay Khandare, who is the research assistant of Bhagwan Sheetalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, to kindly introduce our today's speaker, Ms. Stuti Jain.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Our today's speaker, Stuti Jain, currently works as a faculty member at the International School for Jain Studies, a division of Amar Prerana Trust. She is also pursuing a Ph.D. at the Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute, deemed to be University Pune. She did her MA dissertation on the Śāntinātha Basadi. Thank you.
Thank you. I now request our today's speaker, Ms. Stuti Jain, to kindly begin the lecture.
Thank you, Ocean. Thank you, Dhananjay. I'm sharing my screen. Ocean, can you able to see the screen?
Yes, if you can just hide that particular label.
Yeah. Okay, so as Dhananjay and Ocean said that I'm going to present on the topic, the Śāntinātha Basadi at Jinanāthapura. It's one of the highly ornate temple of Hoysala time period as compared to other Jain temples of the Hoysala dynasty. So I'll be more focusing on the iconographic aspect of this temple. I'll also start with the basic introduction of or spread of Jainism in Karnataka. So Jainism is believed to have arrived in Karnataka around the 3rd century BCE with the migration story of Bhadrabahu and Chandragupta Maurya. As per the tradition, Chandragupta and Bhadrabahu, due to a 12-year long famine, migrated to the south to Shravanbelgol with a large number of ascetics and is believed to have breathed their last by taking the ritual Sallekna at Shravanbelgol. Later, uh, as per the tradition, Sampriti, the grandson of Ashoka, played a important role in promoting and spreading Jainism in the further south. There are various dynasties such as the Kadambas, the Gangas of Talakad, Chalukyas of Badami, Rashtrakutas, Chalukyas of Kalyan, and Hoysala dynasty who have supported or patronized Jainism by providing or granting the land or building a temple or basadi and other religious monuments. Uh, uh, so, in the dynasty, we get to see a copper plate inscription of Kadamba dynasty of a king Mrigesh Varman, who, in his inscription, it gives one of the earliest mention of different Jain sects in the Deccan, including the Nirgranthas, Yapaniyas, Kuruchukas, and Svetapattas. If we see the early example of Jain art and architecture in the region, uh, we can see by the Jain cave at Badami and Mena Basti cave at Aihole, which are uh, dated back to the time period of Chalukyas of Badami. During the Ganga dynasty, a major contribution to Jainism was the construction of a Gomiteshwar statue at Shravanbelgol. This was commissioned by the General Chamundaraya during the rule of King Marasimha under the Ganga dynasty. So I'll give you a brief introduction about this temple. So Śāntinātha Basadi is located at the foothill of the Chandgiri mountain, which is of part of a Shravanbelgol. So this is a small village which is named Jinanāthapura, which is there in Hassan district, Karnataka. Shravanbelgol is an important religious center, uh, which is more significant among the Digambar Jains. The town, Jinanāthapur, is founded by the General Ganga Raja, who was the general under the Vishnu Vardhan. This basadi was constructed under the reign of a Hoysala king, Veer Ballal, and it is built by the general under Veer Ballal, whose name is Rechanna, or also known as Rechimai. So this is the view of the temple from Chandgiri Hill, which is a smaller hill in Shravanbelgol. So this is the Karnataka map showing the location of Hassan district and its distance or the location of Jinanāthapur. So there are many previous work which has happened on this temple. So earliest we get to know in the annual report of the Mysore Archaeological Department, which gives the information about this temple. Later in Epigraphia Karnataka, volume 2nd, which provides additional details about this temple. S. Setar in his book named Shravanbelgol, which is basically a detailed account on Shravanbelgol and the surrounding landmark, gives the list of various figures related to this temple and like brief account of the temple. M.A. Dhaki in his encyclopedia documented his observation on the temple. Later in 2011, Del Bonta, who gives a concise analysis on the temple's architecture and iconography. I'll talk about a little about the Hoysala dynasty. So, the Hoysala Empire, which ruled from the 10th to 14th century, uh, ruled most part of Karnataka with the parts of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and they started as the vassal of the Chalukyas of Kalyan. As per the legend, the dynasty traces its origin to the legend of Sal, uh, which who is said to have killed a tiger on the orders of a Jain teacher. Uh, the Hoysalas initially had their capital at Bellur, later shifting it to Dorasmudra, which is a modern day Halebidu. Early rulers such as Nripakama or Vinayaditya and Ballal first were instrumental in establishing their independence. Um, Later, Bhittideva, who later converted into Vaishnavism under the influence of Ramanujacharya, he has also donated and uh, gave many land grants to to the Jain temple and the monks also. And his wife, who is Shantala Devi, she continued to follow Jainism, and it is said that she has taken the vow of Salekhna. Uh, so, during these Hoysala rulers, Jainism has flourished, and there were some cultural center which emerged, such as Shravanbelgol, Halibedu, Kambadhali, and others. So, Shravanbelgola is a sacred Tīrthaṅkara among Jains. According to Jain tradition, as I have mentioned this earlier also, the last Shrutikevali, Acharya Bhadrabahu, along with Chandragupta Maurya, migrated to the south and took Sallekna on Chandagiri, which highlights this place antiquity. The most popular Bahubali colossal statue was installed by General Chamudaraya under the rule of Ganga King Rachamalla IV in 10th century. Now, this is the satellite imagery, which is showing the Shravanbel Gol. So you can see the larger hill, which is Vindhyagiri. On this hill, that colossal statue of Bahubali is there, and the smaller hill is Chandagiri, and you can see the location of Śāntinātha Basadi. So I'll give a brief introduction about this temple. The Śāntinātha Basadi was constructed during the late 12th or early 13th century under the patronage of the Hoysalas of Dwarasmudra. It stand out as the only Jain temple built in the elaborate Hoysala architectural style, comparable to the temples at Belur or Hoysaleshwara temple at Halibedu and Somnathpur. This basadi is dedicated to 16th Tīrthaṅkar, Śāntināth. The temple bears an inscription on the pedestal identifying Rechi Maya as its founder. The temple is notable for its large exterior wall sculptures, which is a rare feature for Jain Basadis of that particular time period, while the interior remains relatively simple. This Basadi Mandap is supported by four intricately carved Hoysala style pillars. According to an inscription on one of the pillars, the temple was renovated in 1632 by Paleda Padumanna, who was the son of Narla Malliseti. So I'll be telling you some details, architectural details about this temple.
Oh,
This is
apologies, but your
yeah.
presentation has stopped.
Oh, can you see it now, Ocean?
Not yet.
So I'll just switch off my camera, and if there's a network issue, I think it
Yes.
might. Is it visible now?
No.
Oh, okay, I'll just share it again.
Yes, now it's visible.
Okay. So I was talking about the architectural details of this temple. Um, this this is one of the most ornate basadi of this region, which showcases the typical Hoysala architecture. So the temple stands on a high jagati, and it is ekuta in plan. So when I'm saying it is ekuta, it is a single shrine. Um, it is quite possible that temple once had a superstructure, but it no longer exists today. Uh, the floor plan of the temple includes a garbhagriha, antaral, and mandap. The temple showcases elaborately sculpted kapotali and makar heads, uh, which are only can be seen on the western side of the temple. Um, the niches, which are called Devakoshta, uh, on the northern and southern wall of the mandap, which are currently empty. There are miniature shikhars carved above the wall figures, um, such as on the figures of Tīrthaṅkaras, which I'll be showing you around, later. Uh, so now some details of iconography of this temple. So there are total 72 wall figures on the exterior walls. Uh, all of these sculptures follow a traditional iconographic principles. The sculpture or the iconography includes Tīrthaṅkaras, Sasana Devtas, as well as secular figures like Surasundaris, Mithun couple, dancers, and musicians. So when I'm talking about Sasana Devtas, so in Jain tradition, there's a concept of Sasana Devtas, which are the attendant deities of uh, a Tīrthaṅkar. So the Indra assign a pair of Yakshakshi to each Tīrthaṅkar. These figures are placed on the Bhadra, Upabhadra, and Karna niches. Uh, the ceiling of the temple features intricate ceilings uh, on the Antaral and Garbhagriha portion. So now this is the northern view of the temple. You can see the Deva coaster here, which is empty, and So there are these miniature shikhars which are topped above the figures. So so this is the plan of the Śāntinātha Basadi. The temple faces the east. So I have numbered all these wall figures. As you can see, if you see the clockwise direction, I have counted in a clockwise direction. So there are total 72 wall figures. Now this is the western side of the view of the temple. This is the mandap view of the temple, and as you can see, there are 4 pillars which are lathe turn technique, which is typical Hoysala temple architecture. Now this is the Garbhagriha doorway, which is showing the Tīrthaṅkar on the Lalat bim. So this is a seated Tīrthaṅkar on Lalat bim on the right side. So in the Garbhagriha, as I mentioned earlier, this is the Mool Nayak image of 16th Tīrthaṅkar Śāntinātha, who is shown seated on a lion throne in Ardha Padmasan with a Tri Chhatra. There's no cognizance seen. This Tīrthaṅkar has been identified on the basis of an inscription which mentions Rechi Maya or Rechana consecrated the Tīrthaṅkar Śāntinātha, and he mentioned his preceptor Sagar Nandi Siddhanta Deva, who is the disciple of another teacher, Maganandi Siddhanta Deva, and their connection with the Śāntinātha Basadi of Kolhapur. This is the detail of the inscription which I have explained earlier. So now I'll be talking about these figures. So the figures or the sculptures showing the arrangement of the figures on the exterior wall, as I've shown earlier, there's no as such particular arrangement while placing these figures. Mostly Tīrthaṅkaras and the Yakshakshi or Sasana Devtas are depicted on the Bhadra projection. So the iconographic feature on this temple are influenced by literary works in Kannada, such as Chamundaraya Puranam or Purva Puran by Hastimal or Adi Puran by Pampa. So now, so there are 10 figures of Tīrthaṅkar on the exterior wall of this temple. So there are set guidelines to identify the Tīrthaṅkar as well as the Yakshakshi images. So the left side of the image I have identified as a Tīrthaṅkar Rishabdev, who is the first Tīrthaṅkar. It is identified on the basis of hair strand, which you won't be able to see, I guess. So the generally Rishabdev is shown with the hair strand or hair locks on its shoulder. Since there is no cognizance, it is difficult to identify the other Tīrthaṅkars. However, there's the Yakshayakshi is depicted on the side of the Tīrthaṅkar, but these Yakshakshis are common to all the Tīrthaṅkar on this temple. So it is difficult to identify which Tīrthaṅkar image it is on the basis of Yakshakshi's attribute or. So the second, the right side image is identified as Suparshvanath with the 5 hood. The Yakshakshi also has a similar attribute as the Yakshakshi of Rishabdev. Another Tīrthaṅkara which has been identified is Parshvanath. He's shown with 7 hoods, and that's why he's identified as Parshvanath, since there's no cognizance is available. The right side image is uh, partially incomplete, so it is difficult to identify which Tīrthaṅkara it is. There's no cognizance shown below. These are some of the other Tīrthaṅkaras images which are also unidentified. These are 2 Tīrthaṅkara images which are completed, but since there's no cognizance, it's difficult to identify which Tīrthaṅkara it is. So when I'm talking about the Sasana Devtas or the iconography of Yaksha Yakshi, it varies according to the sectarian affiliation and regional traditions. There are established or set guidelines for identifying yakshas and yakshis, which is found in the textual sources such as Teloe Panditi or Nirvan Kalika, Pratishta Sar Samgra, and others. And based on these texts, along with regionally developed iconographic trends, these sculptures have been identified. So, the leftmost figure is identified as Sarvanubhuti, which is standing in the Dvibhanga Mudra. Uh, since it is identified on the basis of the attributes, so he's holding Padma, Parisu, which is a X. It is Ankush and Bijapurak. So that's how it has been identified as Sarvanubhuti, Yaksha Sarvanubhuti, who is the Yaksha of 23rd Tīrthaṅkar, Neminath. Later, the other 2 images are identified as Yaksha Dharnendra on the basis of their attributes. So these figures are holding Padma, Ankush, which is an elephant goad, noose, and Bijapurak, which is a fruit. So Sasana Devis, also known as Yakshis. So there are various Yakshis depicted on this temple. So this Yakshi is Chakreshwari, which is the Yakshi of first Tīrthaṅkar Rishabdev. So the leftmost figure is seated in Ardha Paryankasan, and she is shown with 6 hands. So the upper 2 hands are holding chakra, and that's how it is identified as Chakreshwari. The middle 2 hands are holding Vajra. The right hand shown in the Varad Mudra, and the left lower hand shown holding Padma, which is lotus. And if you can see on the left below, there's a, or sorry, the left below, there's a Garud Vahan which is shown for this Yakshi. So the Yakshi Vahan or the mount is Garud. Another figure of Chakreshwari is identified with the chakras on the above 2 hand, also seated in Ardha Paryankasan. Also, if you can see on the right side, there's a Garud shown seated. So now these 2 Yakshis are identified as Kushmandini, so who is the Yakshi of Tīrthaṅkar Neminath, also known as Yakshi, commonly known as Yakshi Ambika. But since this region is of Shravan-Belgol, so she is worshipped as Kushmandini. She is shown holding a bunch of mangoes and a child And there's another child which is shown seated on the lion in the left image. In the right side image, she's shown holding Padma and Beach Purak. And if you see in the left corner, there's a lion with seated child on it, and that's how it is identified as Kushmandini. So if you see this left image, it is commonly shown in most of the temples of Shravanbelgori. So now next, these two images have been identified as Yakshi Padmavati, who is the Yakshi of uh, Tīrthaṅkar 23rd Tīrthaṅka Parshvanath. Um, so if you see the left side, she's shown holding Padma, lotus, elephant gourd, pash, and the fruit, similar like Yaksha Dharnendra. She's shown with a Vahan, which is not very clear. It can be a Kukut Sarp or it can be a swan. So some texts give her mount as a Kukut Sarp or swan. So it is not very clear to identify. Um, the right side figure is in standing posture, shown holding again lotus, elephant gourd, noose, and fruit. So Saraswati is also known as Shut Devi. Um, she is believed to be the protector of the teachings of Tīrthaṅkaras or Jina. So there are two depictions of Saraswati on this temple. She is identified on the basis of holding a pustak. So if you can see on the lower left hand, in the left image, she is holding a pustak. And also shown with a rosary, with an Abhyamudra and rosary she's holding. Same in the right side image, also she's in holding rosary and pustak. There are other figures such as Kshetrapal. Kshetrapal is the deity who protect the kshetra or area or field. So this figure is on the western side of the temple. It's on the northwestern corner. This sculpture has shown mated hair, holding khadag dagger, uh, shown with parsu axe, noose, and bijaparak, and standing in Dvibhang mudra. Interestingly, there's a figure of yogi or a person with loincloth, yadnopavit, and karna kundal. It is difficult to identify the attribute of what he is holding. Uh, I am guessing that it can be a sutradhar of this temple. However, Del Bonta, he identified it as a yogi who's and he is identifying this attribute can be a Shakti. So there are Ashtatikpal ceiling on the Garbhagriha ceiling pe, and also on the ceiling of Antaral. So this is the Antaral ceiling where you can see Tīrthaṅkar in seated, and around all these Dikpal or the guardian deities of all directions. Uh, the most notable or unique feature about this temple is the depiction of Mithun, a couple, shown in the erotic posture. So there are two figures of Mithun couple on this temple. In here you can see on the left corner there's a monkey who is looking to the couple. Interestingly, there are also figures of Manmath. or Rati. So Manmat is um, also known as Kamdev. So he is shown in Dvibhanga Mudra holding a Pushpa Ban and a sugarcane stalk. Uh, right side, there's a figure of Rati shown holding those Pushpa Ban. There are many, almost 30-40 figures of Sundaris which are depicted on this temple. So I have tried to identify these Sundaris based on their attribute. Um, so on the left figure is identified as Padma Gandha, since she is holding a Padma and fruit. The right side image is of Nartaki. She is shown in a dancing posture, and on the either side there are the musicians who are playing instruments. The other Sundaris are Manini. Uh, so she's shown holding mango bunch in both her hand, and the right side image is of Sukha Sarika. So Suk is a parrot, and the left hand, as we can see, there's a parrot, and on in the right hand she is holding a mango bunch. That's how she has been identified as Sukha Sarika. If you can see the detail of this figure, she's shown with such elaborate ornaments, and there are sandals or in the foot. So there are some such beautiful or intricate sculptures on this temple. Uh, the left Sundari is Darpana. She's holding a Darpan in her left hand, and right hand is shown holding a bunch of mangoes. Uh, right side figure is Talvadak Mardala, where she's shown with symbols, instrument symbol. There are almost 10 musicians depicted on the temple. So two are of them, one is the Veena Vadak and one is the Mridang Vadak. So my observation is as inscription does not give any date, the temple roughly has been dated to 1200 CE. Although the inscription omits the king's name, other inscriptions indicate Rechimaya or Rechanna, who is the general who has served under the reign of Veeraballal, and that's how this temple has been dated during the period of Veeraballal. This is the highly ornate Hoysala Basadi, which is possibly influenced by Rechimaya's exposure to the art and architecture of other Hoysala temple during his earlier service under the Kalachuris before joining the Hoysalas. In terms of iconography, uh, the Sasana Devatas were depicted with equal importance to the Tīrthaṅkaras on the Bhadra projection of the temple, which reflects the popularity and development of Devata worship within Jain tradition during that period. Um, the popularity of the worship of Śāntinātha during that period is evident from the fact that many temples which are dedicated to Śāntinātha, such as temple at Kambadhalli, which are of the Ganga dynasty period, and Panchakuta Basadi at Humcha, um, and which can also be understood through the textual sources which describe him as the first Chakravarti to become a Tīrthaṅkar. In spite of a fact that this region is famous for worshipping Bahubali, there is no sculpture of Bahubali in this temple. There could be possible reason for that Bahubali is not one of the Tīrthaṅkas. He is considered as a great ascetic. Moreover, there's a depiction of Manvat, which I have showed you, which can also be seen as the indirect relation with Bahubali, as Bahubali was the first Kamadev in Jain tradition. It is noteworthy that this temple features a unique depiction of a Mithun couple in a erotic posture, which is not common among Jain Basadis in Karnataka and may reflect influences from other temples in the region. So these are some of the references. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stuti Jain, for this wonderful and informative lecture. I request the participants to type their questions in the chat box so that we can ask your questions on your behalf. You will not be allowed to unmute yourself for a smooth functioning. We have a question by Chaitanya Ashtekar. He's saying, thank you for this wonderful lecture. A small request. Can you mention again the texts about iconography which you mentioned earlier while explaining the Yaksha images?
Thank you, Chaitanya. So, as I mentioned earlier, these Yakshi varies, the iconography varies according to the sect or the tradition. So, the Shwetambar text, which mention the details of Yakshi is Nirvan Kalika and Pratishta Sarodhar. And if you try to see Digambar Yakshi iconography, it is given in Tiloe Panditi and Pratishta Sar Samgra. So these are the texts which you can refer.
Okay, thank you. Other participants. So another question by Saurabh Jain. He's saying, what is the material used for the construction of this temple? This does not look like a typical sandstone used for the construction of other temples.
Okay, so this temple is made of green cyst, which is commonly used in the Hoysala temple architecture. And most of the Hoysala temple, you will be able to see this cyst has been used for the temple construction.
Thank you. While we wait for some other question, yes, another question by Le Doshi. He's asking, why don't we see any lanchana below the Tīrthaṅkar images, whereas every Tīrthaṅkar is always depicted with their lanchana?
So this concept of lanchanas, which has been developed after the late Gupta periods around 8th to 13th century. So if you see the early figures of Tīrthaṅkar, you won't be find any cognizance depicted on those Tīrthaṅkar sculptures. And same happened on this temple. So there's no lanchan or cognizance depicted on with the Tīrthaṅkar on this temple.
Thank you. Yeah. So till there is any further question, I would like to ask a question myself. If there is any other question, if there is any other temple which we can compare this temple with, elaborate in a similar way of the similar region, is there any such temple? If not, then what can be the probable reason why this is the only temple that has been made so elaborate in the exterior walls as well?
So, Ocean, you are asking for a Jain temple, a simple Jain temple, like
Yeah.
the same similar Jain temple, which is so. As I mentioned in my observation, um, I have not been able to see a similar ornate Jain temple which has these huge wall figures like other Brahmanical temple like Hoshaleshwar and Chenakeshwara temple, Somnathpur, which has these wall figure. Uh, Jain temple I have not come across, especially in this region. Uh, in my observation, I said कि since Rechimaya has was the general under Kalachuris, and he has been influenced by the temple architecture of Kalachuris as well as of the Hoysalas, and that's why this temple has these wall figures. So I think
Yeah.
this is what I,
Fine. There are some further questions. Since we still
yeah.
have some time, we will take these questions. Chaitanya Ashtekar is again asking if there is any Lanchana below the Tīrthaṅkara image which is depicted on the Lalata Bimba.
Oh no, so on the Lalat Bim, there's seated Tīrthaṅkar is shown, seated on the lion throne. So there's a lion throne is shown on the Lalat Bim, and so it has only the depiction of lions and no other cognizance. And since the temple is dedicated to Tīrthaṅkar Śāntinātha, whose lanchan is not lion.
Yeah. Uh, Dr. Seelam Srinivas Rao is asking if there are any shifts or migrations or influence of gods or goddesses from Jainism to other religions, or maybe vis-a-vis.
Oh, this is a very interesting question. So of course there has been an assimilation between the Jain tradition and other religious tradition. Um, I can't think of any deity which has been assimilated into the Brahmanical tradition. Especially no Yakshakshi. However, there's a mention of Tīrthaṅkar Rishabdev in the Puran text, or as well as in some Rig Veda, but I can't think of any Yakshakshi who has been assimilated in the other tradition. However, there are similar deities um, like Ambika in Jain tradition. uh, uh, Similar, we have Hariti, which is in Buddhist tradition. So there are these similar deities, but I can't think of any deity which has been taken or assimilated into the Brahmanical tradition.
Okay. Narendra Jain is asking if you can elaborate or just point out some of the differences of iconography, Jain iconography, I believe he is asking, at the contemporary period between the north and the southern part of India.
Uh, so there's iconography difference. If you see as a sectarian wise, of course, the Shwetambar icons are shown with the open eyes and some clothes or ornaments onto it. However, Digambar's icons or the sculptures, especially of Tīrthaṅkaras, are shown naked, like without any clothes. Um, there's a difference between in the Yakshakshi. So, as I said, Yakshakshi has been differed or varies region wise also, as well as sectarian wise. Um, so, generally, the Yaksha of 22nd Tīrthaṅkar, Neminath, who is a Gomed Yaksha, but in southern India, he is more shown as Sarvanubhuti. Uh, so the worship of Sarvanubhuti is more in the southern tradition. However, in north, it is Sarvanubhuti Yaksha is not there. It is mostly shown as Gomed.
Okay. Alyang Architects is asking, in one of the photos, Shikhar in the form of carvings can be seen. Is this a common carving in other Jain temples of this region as well?
No, so as I said, ki this is the most highly ornate temple, and it is uh, interesting because the wall reliefs which are on this temple is not there in the other Jain temples of the same dynasty. So if you see the temples in Halebeedu, there are Jain Basidis which are plain exterior wall, and they does not have these miniature shikhars as well as any relief on the outer wall, as well as interior is also very plain as compared to this temple.
Okay, thank you very much, Stuti ji. This brings us to the end of the question and answer session as well. Thank you for answering all the questions. And I now request Prashant Goyal, Research Fellow of Bhagwan Sheetalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, to propose a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ocean. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Bhagwan Sheetalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology, Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute, Pune, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being part of today's event. A special and sincere thanks to Ms. Stuti Jain for delivering Professor H.D. Sankalia monthly lecture series on Jain heritage. Your lecture on the Śāntinātha Basadi at Jinanāthapura, a masterpiece of Hoysala temple architecture, was deeply informative and thought-provoking. We are truly grateful for your presence and for sharing your rich knowledge with us. I would also like to thank my fellow team members at the Bhagwan Sheetalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology for their constant support and coordination in organizing this event smoothly. I would also like to thank all the esteemed guests for their presence, especially Dr. Srinath Pandey sir, Dr. Renuka Purwal ma'am, Professor M.K. Pundhir sir, Dr. Gauri Bedkar ma'am, Dr. Shailesh Sinde sir, Singh Raja sir, Amal Chawle sir, Dr. Seelam Rao, Nilesh Jadhav sir, Dr. Jain Joglekar sir for joining today's session. And finally, a warm thank you to everyone who attended this lecture today. Your presence and engagement made this session more meaningful. Thank you all once again, and we look forward to meeting you at our future event. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Oshin. Thank you, Prashant. And thank you, everybody, for attending this lecture.